Alright, we will be beginning in a second. Get the splits ready. So, we will be beginning in 3, 2, 1, and go. So hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike, and welcome to Crash Bandicoot N-Tranced for the Game Boy Advance. This was one of 5 total Crash games that released for the Game Boy Advance over its lifetime. And this was one of the 2 real platforming games. The other 3 weren't really the core games you'd go for when looking for Crash games. There's, similar to how Crash 3 for the PlayStation had a lot of vehicle levels, this game's also broken down into both platforming and more vehicle-y type levels. For those unfamiliar with Crash Bandicoot, basically the aim is we just go through every level and collect a crystal. For the most part, these are platforming levels. However, like I said, there are various vehicle levels throughout this, in which you will be doing various things other than doing platforming. Like in this level,
Mike.
we'll be riding on a surfboard.
We're gonna need to restart the run.
Okay, sorry, what's up?
Asking me to have a look at your window in OBS.
Okay.
It's extremely laggy.
The bitrate's fine. I'll just make sure everything's coming through alright. I think I've had this error before, and I think I just needed to restart the capture device, so if you just give me a second. Sorry, I think it may be just a problem if I leave it running for too long. I've definitely had this issue before. Let me just get the program back up. Yeah, I don't know why, but this capture card can unfortunately just like lead into OBS. I need some software to get it to work. And if I leave it running for too long, it just kind of complains. So yes, apologies about that. Alright, I'll check OBS.
Yeah, once you get it loaded up, go ahead and move around a little bit in the game, make sure it's not still lagging.
Alright, I'll just go through that first level again, I guess. Just if you're seeing similar delays or issues.
Alright, things seem good.
Alright, if that seems good, then I guess we could get things started then. Right, apologies for the hiccup, guys. Let's head back into this. Once again, in 3, 2, 1, and go. Right, so just to summarise what we've just been over. So, for the most part, this game is platforming levels, in which we'll be going through, finding a crystal, and exiting through the portal. However, there's a few different vehicle-type levels in this game, which we'll be seeing throughout the run, in which we'll be doing things other than platforming, and I'll summarise those a bit more when we get there. This is the N% category, so all we're worrying about is collecting crystals and beating bosses, and getting as far in the game as we can by only doing that. Throughout the platforming levels, we'll be doing slide spins as the fastest way to get around. So here we see our first non-platforming level. This is a surfboarding level, in which we'll be running away from the shark. Our aim is just to stay on the ground and hold B for the longest we can. Jumping slows you down. We only jump at the beginning there to collect that mask, because for the next level we'll want 2 masks going into it. Don't worry, there's a backup mask later on in this level. But apart from this, there's really not much to these levels apart from just memorising the patterns of where the grass is, because grass will slow you down, memorising where the TNT is, because the TNT will hurt you, and triggering the seagulls so that you don't take damage from them. And ideally just staying away from the shark as well. There's not many of these levels, so we don't have to worry too much about them. But we'll cover the rest of them when we get there, because it tends to be with these vehicle levels that every next vehicle level that happens, they'll introduce a new factor to it. And the crystal's always just at the end of these vehicle levels, so nothing to worry about. So here's Pharaoh's Funhouse, the first Egyptian-themed level. So we in Crash Bandicoot you have a mask, and you collect the masks by breaking mask boxes. Essentially, each mask you collect gives you an extra hit, and upon collecting the third mask, you'll get invincibility. Invincibility also allows us to break boxes without needing to spin them, which is quite helpful for getting through large obstacles. There we go. Here's the crystal. And out we are through the portal. So there's really not much to these first few levels. The game will speed up dramatically after the first world, where we get the power-up, which really makes this an interesting speed game. Until then, we're unfortunately just stuck with the standard sliding and spinning. So this is the first Arabian-themed level. There's two of them in the first world. Like I said, this game is a mixture of both Crash 3 and Crash Wrath of Cortex. So of course you'll recognise the Egyptian levels and the Arabian levels from those Crash 3. There's really not much interesting to this level. Like I said, all the interesting stuff happens a little later on. I'll talk briefly about the different categories for this game. In fact, no I won't, because this is another vehicle level. So in Crash Wrath of Cortex introduced the Atlas levels, in which you're in a ball and you need to navigate a maze. Well, it's not much of a maze, but it's a difficult path to traverse. So we're going to be pouring the first skip here. Yay, we got it first try, good. So these levels generally have a few skips. Some save more time than others, and some are significantly more difficult than the others. But they're a lot of fun. These levels are a bit painful, mostly because it's just ported from a weird Tony Hawk engine. But that should be fine. There we go. Okay, so yeah, there's three categories in this game. There's the Any%, in which we just do the bare minimum. There is a Any% 2, in which we collect not only the crystals, but we also collect the gem shards, which we'll see the first one in a moment. We're not actually going to collect it for any reason, we're just going to walk past it, because it just so happens to be along a slightly faster route. So yeah, so that's a gem shard. Every platforming level has a gem shard, and by collecting all of them, you unlock an extra world and an extra boss at the end. That's the Any% 2. And then there's 101%, in which it involves getting all the crystals, all the gem shards, doing the extra world, and in each level breaking all the boxes to get the gem, and then redoing every level to get a relic in time trial mode. And that nets you a total of 101%. So Crash gains a few different power-ups in this game, such as a magic carpet, which you don't really see very much of. It's all in very scripted areas. It's not like you can really do anything fun with it. Hopefully we can just style on these scorpions and just skip this a little bit. Oh, and we landed back on the handrail. So to briefly summarise the plot of this game, basically this master hypnotist called N-Tranced tried to hypnotise all of the Crash crew in an attempt to dominate the world. He successfully managed to capture Crunch and Cortex, however unsuccessfully captured Crash and instead got Fake Crash. So those will be the bosses for this game. Crunch is pretty easy, we just stay as far to the right as possible so he gets hit by the nitros as fast. This isn't RNG or anything, it's just the same pattern over and over again, so I know exactly what to expect. Right, so we just got the Super Slide power-up, which allows us to go very fast, as in about that fast. So we're going to be doing this for basically the whole game now. and it will look very funny in some places. One thing you do need to watch out for is the bonus platforms. In this run we have absolutely no use for the bonus platforms, so you want to kind of avoid them at all costs, because entering a bonus and leaving a bonus is both very slow. So here's the second barrel level, the second Atlas level. This is a crunch one. Hopefully we can get that skip. Yep, there we go. So you can fail that skip and like retry it like 5 times and it's still faster. So getting the time trial on this level is really easy. We essentially just skipped about maybe a third of it? Maybe a quarter. I'm not sure, I haven't actually done the math on it, but we've just skipped a lot. So in this instance, they've now introduced these rolling barrels that will roll back and forth between the half pipes. Although we're not going to run into too many of them in this level. In my opinion, these are the worst levels in the game, and luckily there's only 3 of them, so we've already almost seen all of them. The last one is very painful though, and is, in my opinion, the level I'm worst at. Right, so this is Helping Coffins. There's a few interesting things on here. We get to see an interesting interaction, which is the super slide on oil. So if we do this, we can jump very far, very fast, and it is very funny. So we're gonna get third mask here. For the most part, you don't really need third mask from this game. It's mostly just a bit safer in a lot of places. There we go. Here is the second warp skiing level. In this one, it's now introduced these weird, like, red and white pillars, which we're just going to need to avoid. Running into any of them will just deal instant damage to us. And although we don't really need our masks right now, I don't really want to lose too many of them. Just in case. We're just going to get some invincibility here, so that we don't even need to care. We do need to care about the shark though, because the shark can still eat us, I believe. There's some really weird interactions in this game that don't really make much sense. So we're going to trigger these seagulls here just to get them out of the way. Yeah, like I said, the grass slows you down. Ideally, you avoid it in all spots you can. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at that, so you caught in a little bit of grass here and there, but that's not the end of the world. You don't lose too much time from doing it, at least. Here's Magma Mania. The first level to introduce these ropes. You don't see too many of them. Ideally, we don't want to spend too much time on them, and you can just spin to drop down at any point. And there's also these platforms which we really just need to wait on, but we're not going to wait for most of them, we're just going to slide off early. And there's also these really annoying bird enemies who have huge hitboxes. Oh, crap. Wasn't supposed to boink off that. But yeah, those bird enemies have really large hitboxes, which means they're really easy to hit, but they're also really easy to get hit by, which is a bit of a pain sometimes. Yeah, we don't want to get boinked off the top of there. That blue crate is a freezing crate. Essentially all that does is it freezes all the enemies on the level for a short period of time. And essentially just means that we can just hit them without any fear of them damaging us. So this is the second kind of like power-up Crash gets. So before in the Arabian levels we saw the magic carpet, and here we'll see the helicopter crash from the Wrath of Cortex. As I said, it's all in very scripted segments and you can't really do too much fun with it. But that's us already finished the first 2 worlds. So now we're on to Evil Coco, the second boss. In this one we just kind of need to wait for her shield to go down and just hit her. Once again, there's no RNG at all at this fight, it's just all scripted, so now we just kind of need to wait for the fight to be over. and you can just kind of skip the whole fight by just staying on the left-hand side, so there's not too much to worry about. So in the final phase there, she just kind of cuts out the floor, which, as long as you're not moving down too much, fine. And considering I'm just moving left and right, then there's no issue here. Alright, so by defeating Evil Coco, we just got access to the rocket jump, which we'll show here. And that's like the only time we use it in the run. So one issue with this game is there is lag in a lot of places, and ideally, most of the time it's caused by super sliding in places where a lot's going on. Aside from the Atlas levels, there's a lot of lag in the Atlas levels just in general. But generally you just kind of want to minimize the amount of lag that's going on, but it's never too bad. This is just another one of the scripted carpet segments. We don't do too much here apart from just kind of wait for it to end. So we kind of want to keep hold of as many masks as we can here, because there's a level that we're going to be doing in not too long which we do want to enter 2 masks with. You don't have to enter with 2 masks, but I would highly prefer to enter with 2 masks because you can finish the level really quickly if you're invincible. So this is the 3rd and final water level. There's not anything new here, the shark just attacks way more frequently. As so. So yeah, we just need to watch out for the shark, which isn't too bad. There we go. That was a bit scary near the end, but we survived. So this is the first of 2 space levels in the game. These levels are relatively simple. They're just on a straightforward path, and you just push B to boost forward, and you push A to shoot, and that's the level summed up. There are speed-up gates in which we're going to be going through all of them. But aside from that, it's just going to be us pushing B and getting through this as fast as we can. You'll notice there's a meter in the bottom right. The whole idea is that Coco is running away from like a supernova or something, and you have to push B to like push yourself slightly further away, but they don't intend for you just to be like pushing B the whole time, so unfortunately that sun's never actually going to catch up to us. Well, I say unfortunately, we're just not seeing a game mechanic, which isn't the end of the world. I think we're used to skipping game mechanics here. Yeah, we're just going to be mashing the B button for about 2 minutes here, unfortunately. The first level isn't too interesting. The second one's a little bit harder, so you do need to pay a bit more attention during it. I did lose a run not too long ago to it, which was a bit of a shame, considering the levels are mostly just kind of considered free. Right, here's Mr. Lava Lava, one of the volcano levels again. We can deal with that bird and just get away from it as soon as we can. There's not much to this level. There's a quite long helicopter segment which we'll be skipping. Well, not skipping, but going through. We didn't collect 3 masks there just so we don't fall on there by accident. I'll see if I get this. Oh, we will. It is possible to jump up there if you jump correctly off the bird. But I haven't got that completely down yet. Oh. Bonked my head on that roof there, so I had to stop for a second to let the lava cycle go by. Because now that we have the 2 masks, I do not believe there's any more masks, and we kind of want to keep these. So yeah, getting rid of a helicopter just to get another one. There's these really ominous closing doors behind us, which pose absolutely no threat. Which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. So here, we don't even need to use the ropes, we can just do that. Like the box to freeze. Funnily enough, you can slide under that crystal if you're still sliding, which is a bit of a pain. We did lose a mask there. That's a shame. I don't think I'm going to bother collecting the backup mask, because there is a secondary mask you can collect here, but it doesn't save that much time, if any. So instead, I think we're just going to damage boost through a few of that. Light a mask there. And slide through. So the water in this game can only really kill you when it's at max height. So as long as we're like on a button or something, we are no fear of the water killing us. This is one of, I think, 2 levels where you'll see water. So here's the fastest boss in the game, Feet Crash. The idea of the boss is he just copies your movements, however the stage is not symmetrical, so we can just kind of hit him on every available frame, basically. So here's the 3rd and final Atlas level, in my opinion, the hardest level in the game. So I have previously not mentioned how, like, cycles work in this game. So for the barrels, and in this level, laser gates, all the cycles are based off when they appear on screen. However, the second they appear on screen, they are just kind of spawned in forever now. So if I were to die, they're still spawned in and their cycle is still continuing. So if I get through everything perfectly without dying, then... Oh, sorry, I didn't want to chance that there. I could have probably made that though. If I get through everything without dying, then I can get through all the cycles just fine. However, if I wait or I load something in too quickly, then I'll need to take an alternate route. Here we're going to try go for a skip, and if we don't get it, we're going to go for just the backup top route. Yeah, we didn't quite get it. That track isn't 100% consistent. I've been trying to work out a really consistent way to doing it. Currently I've just kind of got a rhythm down where there's only 2 buttons in this mode. It's slow down and speed up. And I've tried to find out a rhythm of just slowing down at the right time, although it's not completely consistent at the moment. Right, there we go, that's the last you need to see of the ball levels. Here's the final volcano level. This level's just got a few of these waiting platforms, which we'll need to be just sitting on, rigging the boxes. Not much to this one. Should mention, we got a power-up from the last boss. It's the Death Tornado. Essentially, if we spin a bunch of times, we will hover. Which is great in like 3 places. So upcoming here, we're going to see a really cool damage abuse, which is going to allow us to skip a lava, like the lava burst cycles. So essentially, these also just, it's when they come on screen, they're kind of loaded in. And the whole idea is that it loads in when you're coming out the first one, so you really need to wait for all of them. However, if you damage boost through the first one, you can just skip all of the cycles. And there goes the last lava level. Here is the last Arabian level. Like the one level in the game where you're actually going to see that tornado spin, basically. And you're not going to see it very much. Right, so this is like the one carpet level which you actually need to like watch out for, and we need to shoot the nitro boxes well in advance. Because there's a really type of thread the needle bit here where we just make sure we get all these fine. But that's no worry. Oh, that was a bit scary. I didn't have a plan for that, but we worked one out on the spot, so that's good. Yeah, I'm just not going to comment on that. No, seriously, there's a weird glitch in this game where from a monkey bar, if you push a direction, like left or right, and spin on the at the same time, you will just kind of like float until you either hit a wall or a rope. And there is like one use for it in the game, and it's only the 101% category. So unfortunately you really don't get to show it off, and you get to show it off in like one level as well. So it's like the most fun glitch in the game, with no uses basically. But here's the second and final space level. Now once again, not much to this level. You just kind of need to make sure that the enemies don't do too much damage to us, and we can just for the most part just kite them away, going through boost panels when we can. And just making sure we go through all these. I've just looked at my timer and I appear to be on a reasonable pace as far as my standards are concerned. So, I'm actually kind of in the zone right now, so apologies about that. So each one of these guys deals about, I think it's somewhere around like 12% damage, so we can afford to be hit by a few of them, but for the most part we're just going to kite them out of the way to be safe, or shoot them in advance if we're already in boost mode. Right, here's the final actual like platforming level. This is an Egyptian level, where we're just going to be taking like an alternate route for the most part, and just kind of skipping the whole level, basically. Let's see if we can spin this guy. And this guy is not cooperating today. Come on, let's bite. There we go. No! Crap, that's a shame. There we go. Took him long enough. So yeah, so that's actually supposed to be like the alternate path that you're supposed to go back down and along. However, we're just doing that to skip all the platforming stuff that's along the top, basically. And here we are, the final boss, N-Tranced. This boss has two phases. The first phase is a platforming type phase, where we just need to wait for him to shoot his gun, and then we stomp on him. And there's no real difficulty to him here, we just need to make sure we time the jumps right. So here we can just stand in the corner. And for the second phase, we essentially need to dunk him into the lava pit. We just need to do that 5 times. And time will be coming up very soon. Just as soon as we take the last bar of health off. Right, just one more hit. Oh, and that's inversed my controls, but I should still be fine. And there we go. So that is Crash Bandicoot N-Tranced any percent. Like I said, there's 2 other categories in this game. One which is like a slightly longer any percent, where you get to actually fight N-Tranced, sorry, Entropy, the guy you see on screen at the moment. And you get to see a few more levels as well. And then there's the one at 1%, which is a lot of a longer run, where you get to do a lot more, you get to collect a lot more things. But 2803, that's not too bad a time, all things considered. The world record used to be in like 26, and like, you know, times used to be around like a 26, 27-ish. For no reason, the game has just kind of exploded in the last week, and that's now been brought down to a 24 something. So yeah, that's happened. So this game is actually kind of picking up some traction at the moment. So if you're at all interested in games like this, it's a very good time to get into them. But yes, that is Crash Bandicoot N-Tranced for the Game Boy Advance. I thank you all for watching. And we'll be passing over to something else.
Alright, Mike. Thank you for the Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced run.
Problems.
Yep, I think we're going to be moving fairly quickly on over to Metroid.
Ooh, well, I wish them the best of luck, and stay tuned for Metroid, guys.
It's going to be Metroid Fusion 0%.
Ooh, I haven't actually seen that before. I'll probably tune in.
Couldn't find him before. I'll ping him in Discord. Something. He said he would commentate. I'm totally fine if I have to do it myself, though.
If he shows up, he's welcome to join. You know, I'll give him the link and everything.
Oh, goody.
Alright, looks like we're ready to go.
Alrighty.
So I hope everyone enjoys some Metroid Fusion 0%. JRP, if you want to go ahead and count yourself off, you're ready to go.
Alright, so I'm gonna start when I have the right thing open. Okay. Here we go. Alright, and here we